Welcome to the Humble ISD Advanced Learning Podcast, where our goal is to talk about anything and everything related to advanced learning in less time than it takes for you to get from home to school or work. I'm Dr. Tong Uticrit, the Director of Advanced Learning for Humble ISD. So we're continuing our college admission series where we're talking to college representatives for schools that our community is interested in so that we can better prepare you for the admissions process. So today, we're getting to look closer at the University of Houston. I'm joined today by Dante Dumas, a recruitment specialist for the University of Houston. Welcome on the show, Dante.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so I'd love to just start out, similar question that I ask a lot of our university representatives that have been on here is, let's talk about the University of Houston. I mean, I know it's right down the road from us, but when you think about U of H, what's the secret sauce? Like, what is unique about U of H that attracts students?
So I get this question actually all the time when, especially as a out-of-state recruiter as well, we go to California, Arizona. And so one of the great things that I tell students about the university is our proximity to everything. We're about 10 minutes away from the world's largest medical district. We're about another 7 minutes away from 22 Fortune 500 companies. We have the energy capital of the world right down the street from us, NASA. So our proximity to so many great opportunities for the student is what makes us so unique other than from other universities.
And I'd love for you to talk a little bit more, because I think sometimes, especially for us here in Humble, right, U of H, we're talking maybe an hour drive down 59.
Depends on traffic.
Depending on traffic. And so I think sometimes U of H almost gets a little bit discounted by our population because you're like, oh, it's so close, right? They're like, oh, well, it's U of H. It's just right here. Can you talk a little bit more about like what's appealing for like Houston area students, you know, when they might be thinking about the idea of going away for college?
Yeah, so we actually have a big on-campus like student population that lives on campus. And so if you don't want to deal with traffic, you can live on campus, which is a plus for you. And then you can always go home, have mom wash your clothes and everything. So there's a lot of benefits, but there's also the benefits of like, because of the close proximity, we actually have a light rail that runs through the university that can take you to downtown. So when you have internship, job opportunities that are downtown, we have a busing system that takes you to the medical district. There's so many great things that are right in your backyard that a lot of students don't even know about. They hear a lot about like the other universities that are in the state of Texas, but honestly, you don't get what we have at the University of Houston at those other universities, especially like I was telling you. I'm about that proximity, 7 minutes from 22 Fortune 500 companies. We have going on its 5th year, the #1 entrepreneurship program. So there's so many things that are right in your backyard, and not to mention that we are a top 50 public university too.
Oh, that's great. So let's talk a little bit more about those academic programs, right? So what are some of those programs that make U of H stand out? You've talked a little bit about the proximity to these Fortune 500, but what are those programs, those fields of study, those majors that make U of H notable?
So one, our business school. Our business school is amazing. In our business school, they actually have paid internships for their students, which is very rare. Our engineering school has numerous of nationally ranked programs. We have a medical school, which has our honors med, which is conditional admissions into our medical school. We have a wonderful and world-renowned nursing school that we have. Our law school has so many different opportunities, as well as conditional admissions to our law school if you're in our honors college with our 3x3 program. So there's so many great things that we have that a lot of students are striving to do. Medical school, be a doctor, a pharmacist, optometrist, a lawyer. So actually we have all of that right there on our campus. And so of our 15 different academic programs, a lot of those are nationally ranked programs.
Well, and I love what you said earlier about the proximity, right? So just hearing about nursing school and all that, and being so close to the medical district, I mean, people come to Houston, right, for medical treatment.
Exactly.
And so the fact that U of H is right there, I'm sure there's some connections that are probably in place with U of H with the medical center as well.
We do. We have lots of different partnerships with hospitals in the medical district. And the great thing, too, about our university is that you get hands-on experience coming in as freshmen. That's really rare. You know, a lot of schools, you have to either be a graduate school or you have to be in your professional school or a junior or senior to get like those internships and everything. Not at U of H. You can do that when you come in as a freshman, get that hands-on experience. And then you'll see if you like it or not. You have still the chance and opportunity to possibly change your major without having to do extra years on top of that.
That's great to hear. Now, along with the academics, which sound amazing, let's talk about just campus culture. Like, what are some of the traditions or things on campus when it comes to student life?
I love this question because I am an alum of U of H too. So I do know a lot about like the different traditions. And so we have Frontier Fiesta, which is like a mini rodeo. It usually happens about a week after the Houston rodeo ends. And so on the campus, we have vendors, we have concerts, we have student life that comes out and promotes their actual organizations. It's so great. Frontier Fiesta is a wonderful tradition. We have our Coug sign, which is your 5 fingers on your right hand, on your right hand, 5 fingers up. You put your ring finger down and your thumb over. There is a whole lore and story behind how we got the Coug sign that has to do with a school that is in Austin when we play football, but we won't talk about that. We have Rub the Cougar Paw. We have a big Coug statue in our campus. And so if you rub the Cougar Paw during finals week, it's supposed to give you good luck. There's so many traditions that we have on campus and cannot forget. I'm sorry. But Cougar Red Friday. Cougar Red Friday, every Friday you're supposed to be wearing your red UH shirts. Sometimes some of our different dining locations on campus gives you a discount too for wearing your red shirt. So there's a plethora of different like traditions that we have on campus that I am so honored to be an alum of U of H.
That's great to hear. Now, I'm sure one of the things that you do at being a recruitment specialist and working in college admissions is you work on this idea of like a typical class profile, right? Building a class for this incoming freshman class. So when you think about the profile of a student who chooses U of H, what kind of students really thrive on that school?
We really focus, and students who are well-rounded actually really thrive on our campus. We are really big about community, but also academics too. And so what we have noticed is that students who are involved in their community, involved in different clubs and organizations on campus, but also have good academics actually really thrive at our university and propel not only the student, but also our university to being bigger and better.
So I want to go a little bit more in detail with the admissions piece, because we hear from a lot of parents and a lot of students when it comes to admissions and anxieties and questions. So for you, when you think about the admissions process for U of H, how do y'all at U of H evaluate transcripts? Like some things that I think about is weighted versus unweighted GPAs, right? Like our district treats some courses like dual credit, on-ramps, advanced placement. Those have a weighted GPA number compared to like an academic on level. Like how do those GPAs factor in for U of H?
So for us, we are actually going for admissions purposes only. We are going to look at the unweighted GPA. That's pretty much it. We want to make sure, because not everyone has access to dual credit, AP score, AP credit, honors, IB. So for us to have a level playing field for everyone, we are looking at the unweighted GPA for admissions purposes only.
Okay, and so are you looking at just academic classes or all the classes and just stripping away the weight?
So we're actually going to look at your core classes only. So math, science, social studies, and English. The reason why we do that, because some people may take a Spanish class for their electives, or may take a psychology class or something like that. And so not all electives are going to be the same. So it'll be kind of complicated. But we know that no matter where you go in the country, you have to take math, science, social studies, and English. And so to make it fair for all students, whether or not you are taking AP or you're taking just your regular English courses, we are doing it on an unweighted GPA scale.
Okay, and so everybody kind of gets that level playing field.
Correct. And it's going to be 4.0 too.
Perfect. So if it's not, then I'm assuming that you will go in and recalculate to put it on a 4.0.
So yes, so we will recalculate the GPA. So one of the great things that we have been using at the university is the self-reporting tool. And so students put in what the grade is. So if they have English 1, honors or AP or whatever, or just a regular, they're going to put in that number grade or that letter grade. Once they submit it, it comes directly into our system, and the system will automatically recalculate the GPA on a 4.0 scale.
Okay.
So now I tell students self-report, because that is going to be the quickest way to get a decision. When you do like send in a transcript, a human has to manually do that and everything. So it takes a longer time.
Okay. Now, one of the things that a lot of people know as well is here in high school for public schools, we have endorsements,
yes,
right? And so we've got the STEM endorsement, public service. How does that play into the admissions process, if at all?
So for us, it doesn't really play a big factor into our admissions process, just because, as I said, we recruit all over the country, and not everyone has those endorsements. So for us, it doesn't really matter. Now, when it comes to possible like scholarships and stuff, then those may take a factor into like their scholarship wise. But as for admissions, we just look at, did the student graduate from their high school?
Wonderful. Okay, so one of the things, I'm a big fan of Jeff Selingo. He researches higher education. But one of the things that he says in his books is that college admissions isn't just about test scores, but it's about what is that whole academic narrative that a student is able to tell that gives context to that. And so when you think about evaluating students for admissions into U of H, what sort of courses, extracurriculars, what helps students stand out during that admissions process?
So as I stated earlier in the conversation, we are really big about community. And we're really looking for those students who are bringing community to their area. So who is involved in their community, whether it is home responsibilities, whether it's volunteer hours, whether you are creating a club at your high school. All of those things are what makes a student stand out. We understand, like, yes, you will have several students who have 4.0s, 3.9s, things like that. But what is going to separate you from the other students? And that's going to be the things that you are doing for your community, to improve the community, to be an outstanding citizen of society. And that's really what we're focusing on, especially with our location in the 3rd Ward. It's really about building up the area around us. So how can you help the University of Houston build up the community?
Okay. And I want to unpack that a little bit more, right? Because when you think about a student who might be starting out their high school journey, right? So maybe a freshman, sophomore, but they're really starting down that journey of looking at post-secondary opportunities. So how should students think about things like admissions essays, rec letters, or even the idea of like demonstrated interest in U of H? Like, how should they think about that for admissions?
So I would first say, one, we all have access to the computers. So definitely take a look at the school's website, especially at our university. We have a lot of different resources for students who are interested at the university to get on our website. And so with that being said, take a campus visit. Campus visits will ultimately seal the deal for you. You'll get to feel like, is this a large campus? It is a small campus. What does the class sizes look like? How does the community interact with each other? What is the diversity of the campus? So there's so many different things. But also now think about what you want to do in your ultimate career. And so if you want to be a doctor, hey, yes, U of H is probably a good place for you because of the proximity to the medical district. But if you're looking to be like an entertainer or anything like that, hey, you might want to look at schools in California, LA, Los Angeles, or New York, somewhere around there. So you kind of want to figure out what you want to do and what is your ultimate goal will give you a sense of, hey, these are some of the schools that I should possibly focus on.
Okay. And when should students start to think about getting letters of recommendation? Like, does that play a part at all in the admissions process?
So depends on the school. For the university, for us, we don't use letters of recommendation. Now, with certain scholarships, you do have to have, like our Tier 1 scholarship, you do have to have a letter of recommendation. And so I usually tell students, start working on those letters of recommendation, getting in good with your teachers, buttering them up around like your sophomore, beginning of your junior year. Because honestly, when it comes to your senior year, that's when the application is actually due. They open up August 1st of your senior year. So you don't want to then start working on those letters of recommendation. You want to do those like junior year, end of like your sophomore year.
Wonderful. So I want to transition the conversation a little bit beyond admissions. Let's say, after admissions, once I get to U of H, once they get into the school, what support systems exist to make sure that I'm successful at U of H?
Oh, awesome question. And so we have several different offices that help support our students, from non-traditional students to first-gen students. So we have our Center of Student Empowerment that helps those non-traditional students, first-gen students with extra scholarships, with support systems. We have our CAP Center that helps students for any type of like mental health psychological services, all of that. We have our DART Center that helps students with accessibility needs. Then we have our Center of Student Advocacy. We have our Center of Student Involvement. We have over 575 different clubs and organizations on campus. So it's a lot. And then we also have our Undergraduate Student Success Center too. And so that's with our launch tutoring that helps students with over 100 different courses at the university. We have our Writing Center, our math tutoring. We also even have on campus what we call in-house professors that live on campus that help students. So there's a lot of support that students get with, as not to mention your academic advisors that you have to see twice a semester too. So there's so many different support systems that we have on the campus. So if a student doesn't utilize them, yikes.
So how do I engage with that? It sounds like you got a lot of different support systems.
Yeah.
If I'm a brand new student stepping foot on campus, how do I hear about them? How do I know about it? How do I know how to engage with these support systems?
Great question. So we have what is called weeks of welcome. So in like the first 4 to 5 weeks, there's an event happening on campus almost every day. So we have in the weeks of welcome, it's called Cats Back, which is our organizational fair. So we in our student center, there are going to be all of 575 different organizations, as well as our different centers of student empowerment involvement. All those are going to be on campus to actually for the students to go around and see what do we offer at the university. In addition to that, we also send out weekly, sometimes daily emails to students who list maybe that they're first gen on one of the questionnaires or anything like that. So there's always email communications. There's always tabling events for students to find out and learn more. And then we also do have a big social media presence too as well. And so there's so many different ways for students to find out how can I be supported at the University of Houston.
That's great. Now, Dante, you mentioned that you are also an alum of U of H, right? And so I think you probably have firsthand knowledge of this, but when you think about attending University of Houston and then graduate, like ultimately, you got to have a job on the other side of graduation. So what kind of alumni network or job placement opportunities do students have at U of H?
Oh, so there's a wonderful alumni network. We have over 300,000 alumni from the University of Houston. And so with that, we have like your Hispanic Alumni Association, your Young Alumni Association, you have your Black Alumni Association. There's several different alumni associations that are all over the country. You even have your SoCal Cougs, who are alumni that are in LA. And so you are placed with these different associations, with these different alumni who can also mentor you before you actually even graduate. And so they do have a mentoring program with our alumni. But we are also have our university career services. And so one of the great things about our university is that pretty much almost every one of our academic colleges, from engineering to business to natural science and mathematics, has their own career services to help students get internships, get jobs, job placement, volunteer hours before they even graduate. So, our placement rate for students who graduate with a job or before they graduate or within 6 months is actually pretty high. So just for instance, our business school has a 68% placement rate for students. That's actually pretty high, especially with our economy where we are right now. And so there's so many different opportunities with our students to have a job or a paid internship before they even graduate or as soon as they graduate.
That's awesome to know about. Again, we talked about the academic support while they're there, but then even the alumni support and looking at job placements, getting ready for graduation. I think that's huge because, like you said, with the economy being what it is, and I know parents know this probably more so than our students do at this point, but having those relationships and having those connections, I think is great in the long run to make sure that our kids are able to be successful even after their time at UH.
Networking is really, really important at the university. There's always actually networking events that we have too. We have social mixers. There's Cougs on the Road. That's also a networking event for students who are interested, who are outside of the Houston area. So yeah, we are really big on making sure like you are connected somehow with what your goal is, your ultimate goal is.
That's awesome. Okay. I've got a lightning round for you. Okay. So this is just true or false.
Okay.
True or false. Here we go. Ready? Okay.
Yes.
My GPA is the only thing that matters in admissions.
False.
If I don't have straight A's, I won't get in.
False.
If I don't submit SAT or ACT scores, I won't get admitted.
False.
Taking lots of advanced courses guarantees admission.
False.
If I make a small mistake on my application, I'm automatically rejected.
False.
Public universities don't have holistic admissions.
False.
Wow. So these are the myths, I think. I put these in there because these are the myths that sometimes our community is faced with when they think about applying. Again, I told you there's a lot of questions or sometimes even anxieties about, okay, do I test or do I not test? Do I take these courses or don't take these courses? And I love the fact that you were able to answer that in very definitive ways for our community.
Oh, yeah. So most definitely, one of the questions that we definitely get, a lot of schools are actually going back, especially since COVID. A lot of schools went to test optional. And now we are about 5 years past COVID now. Many schools are actually going back to test inclusive only. But for our university, we are going to be test optional all the way up until 2030. Okay. So students can apply with their test score or without their test score. I usually tell students, hey, whichever one is higher, utilize that. So if you have a higher GPA, but you have test anxiety and you kind of don't do well on your SAT or ACT scores, go ahead and use the GPA. If your GPA is around that like threshold of like a 3.0, which doesn't meet like the automatic qualifications, but you have a 1300 on your SAT, use your test score. We're going to evaluate you based off of whichever one is higher and how you decide to apply.
Oh, I love that. It gives people the options of how they want to present themselves.
Yes.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about kids and coming to campus and visiting and all that. What advice would you give to parents that are trying to support their student through this process?
So most universities have like a parent association too. For us, it's called Coug Moms. Even though, yes, dads, you are able to join Coug Moms too. We have so there's a parent association that you can actually ask questions to. Also, our Dean of Student Affairs actually has a whole parent portal for their parents to support their students, whether it's how to send them care packages, whether it's how can I support my student mentally from afar? How can I provide them with what they need, the balance between being at home and still being under my roof, but also being an adult and having some independence? And so our Dean of Students helps out parents with that. They can join the student portal, the parent portal, and actually be able to kind of see like what are some of the activities that students and parents can do. We also have our family weekend to help support our students. So it's a football game or a basketball game. On that weekend, parents can come onto campus, bring their brothers and sisters and everything, and have an entire fest with their student on campus. And so we're trying to make sure that not only is the student involved in the university, but also the family, because we know families actually have a big impact on what students do and how they are successful at the university.
And I love hearing that because I think it goes back to what you said earlier about University of Houston really valuing community, right? What are you doing in the community? And family is part of that community as well.
Yes.
So when any other last minute advice for anybody looking or interested in U of H?
Yeah, so I definitely say if you're interested in the University of Houston, one, come take a campus tour. We give campus tours Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. all the way till 2 p.m. We also have open houses, but reach out to the university. There's a recruiter in your area. There's one of us somewhere, and you can always reach out to them to help answer any of your questions, any of your anxieties. I talk to parents all the time. I actually probably talk to more parents than I do actually students when I'm getting like my virtual appointments or getting phone calls. And so reach out to your recruiter, reach out to the university, but also definitely take a visit. We also do virtual visits as well for those students who are not able to actually get onto campus. So those are going to be my three advices. Reach out to your recruiter or to the university so you can ask those questions, take a visit, and do an open house.
Okay. Now, Dante, here in Humble ISD, like, would you be our area recruiter?
I am this area's recruiter. So yeah, you can definitely reach out to me. I am very accessible for parents and students.
Perfect. And I'll make sure that I'll put Dante's contact information down in the description of the podcast so you can reach out to him directly as well so that he can get you connected. Dante, I really appreciate you coming in today. We're excited about the opportunities that our students have at U of H. And I love the energy and the information that you brought to us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been an amazing experience. I enjoy making sure that the community knows what we have to offer. And by all means, anything else that you guys need from me, please reach out.
Will do. And again, parents, students, reach out to Dante. His contact information will be below. That's all the time we have today on the Advanced Learning Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on social media on X at HumbleISD_ADV. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can be notified anytime that we drop a new episode talking about anything and everything related to advanced learning. I'm Dr. Tong Uticrit, and this has been the Advanced Learning Podcast, keeping you ahead of the learning curve in Humble ISD.